The shot tore through her shoulder before she even heard it. Captain Mira Sato dropped behind a crumbling plasma duct, clutching her left arm. Burnt fabric fused to skin. Smoke curled around her helmet's cracked visor. The city burned above, towers of violet chrome peeled like bark from trees, collapsing under orbital fire. Ghost 1, status! Her comms barked. She didn't answer. Not yet. Not while the hunter drones were circling. 3 of them hovered silently, wings twitching like anxious predators, scanning the rubble below. Mira blinked twice to initiate adrenaline override. Her pulse surged. The HUD adjusted instantly. Heart rate, pain tolerance, oxygen threshold, all human, all weaponized. Her father's voice echoed from another life. You're not enhanced, Mira. You're inherited. She exhaled slowly, sinking breath with muscle tension. One chance. The moment the lead drone scan left, she moved, low, fast, unpredictable. A fluid streak between debris and fire. One drone pivoted. Too slow. She yanked a broken support rod from the ground and slammed it through its sensor array. Sparks erupted. The second drone spun, but her trajectory had already changed. She was above it, one step off a fallen balcony rail, knee to alloy skull. She didn't just destroy them. She out-evolved them. Ghost 1, respond! She tapped her comm. Still breathing. No thanks to Central's evacuation timing. Extraction vector is blocked. You're alone out there. Mira looked around. The outpost, the last Terran diplomatic node on Virex 9, was gone. Just melting ruins and silence. Not silence. A sound vibrated beneath the rubble. Not mechanical. Organic. She turned. Something moved beneath a collapsed dome. And then... a hand? Not Terran. Six-jointed. Covered in pale green blood. Mira raised her sidearm, but the creature didn't move. It just looked at her. Her weapon didn't drop, but her curiosity overrode reflex. You're Injari? The creature blinked slowly. You don't scream. That's unusual for your kind. Its voice came like gravel underwater. I watched you fight. Not my best work. You should not exist. She stepped closer, wary. You mean humans? No. You're adaptive before the change. No tech. No neurographs. Mira narrowed her eyes. What are you talking about? The Graal catalogued your species. Low threat. Primitive. But you... It coughed, blood mixing with dirt. You rewrote your body in motion. That's not evolution. That's intent. She froze. The Injari were data monks. Observers. Not soldiers. Why are you here? She demanded. He coughed again. To verify a hypothesis. And? Human biology is not what they think it is. A distant roar cut through the city. Then another. Atmospheric rips. Drop pods. Mira knew the sound. Graal enforcers. Too many. She holstered her weapon. Get up. You're coming with me. The Injari stared. Why? Because I have questions. And you're out of time. They moved through the underbelly of the collapsed transit lines, Mira leading with calculated bursts of movement, scanning biofeedback in real time. Her systems read high stress but optimal focus. The AI pinged her. Adrenal limit approaching. Proceed? She subvocalized. Override limit. Lock me in. Locked. Good hunting. The tunnels pulsed with fading backup lights. Echoes of Graal comms bounced in distorted patterns. They were triangulating. Too fast. Why would the Graal send enforcers? Mira asked the Injari. Because I sent the data. She stopped. What data? The Injari winced. I captured footage of your species. Fighting. Healing. Surviving. I sent it to the overseers. They dismissed it. But not everyone did. No. He looked at her, almost apologetic. Now they fear what they don't understand. A flicker of motion above. Then a scream, cut short. One of her scouts gone. They're here. Mira pulled the Injari into a collapsed substation. We wait. He looked at her. You can't kill them all. I don't have to. Through the cracked floor panel, she reached the buried emergency switch. A soft click. Lights shifted. Gas lines realigned. She counted silently. 3, 2. The corridor behind them ignited in a clean, controlled blast. Not enough to collapse the tunnel, but enough to blind heat vision. The growl paused. And Mira moved again. They exited the tunnels through a freight shaft. The Injari stumbled into the fading light of Virex 9's upper atmosphere. Mira scanned the horizon. Terran extraction ships hovered beyond the canyon line, but no way to signal. Jammed. She looked to the Injari. Your body, what can it do? He hesitated. Limited Neuralink. Short bursts. Point to point. You can broadcast a signal? Just once. Then do it. Aim at Earth's black site channel. Use my call sign, Ghost 1 Alpha. He stared. That's classified military intel. So's this conversation. He nodded. Blinked twice. Then collapsed. 3 seconds later, the sky answered. Terran dropships broke stealth, low and fast. Gunmetal thunder. Precision. One landed beside her. Captain Sato, welcome home, the pilot said. Your priority extract. She hauled the Injari into the bay. He's coming with me. The pilot looked uncertain. Mira didn't blink. Yes, ma'am. The bay closed. The ship rose. Below them, the growl moved too late. As the horizon fell away, Mira whispered to herself. Now they know. The silence aboard the Seraphim Protocol was worse than gunfire. Captain Mira Sato sat across from the Injari, separated by reinforced glass and 2 board guards pretending not to listen. Above them, Earth's moon rotated, pale and distant, casting sterile light across the black metal walls of Orbit Command's quarantine ring. The Injari's eyes were dimmer than before, less wonder, more calculation. I didn't betray your people, he said finally. Mira didn't respond. She didn't move. I leaked your biology to the Dominion to prevent war. You didn't prevent it, she said. You escalated it. He didn't argue. From the corner, a voice cracked through the intercom. Cold. Measured. Captain Sato. Command Directive, Level 6 Debrief. You're reassigned. Effective now. Mira didn't flinch. Am I dismissed or promoted? The voice didn't answer. The elevator dropped fast, 120 floors in 10 seconds. Mira stood alone, hands at her sides, jaws set. The scent of sterilized metal and recycled air filled the silence. The doors opened to a vaulted chamber lined with hexagonal data tanks. Inside each, floating, breathing, were human clones suspended in nutrient stasis. Some half-formed. Some perfect. Mira exhaled. They weren't exaggerating. A figure stepped forward, tall, skin like scorched chrome, eyes that flickered too evenly. Commander Helix. Head of Terran Biostrategy Division. Welcome to Project Genesis, Helix said. You've met Subject Zero already. The Injari? No, Helix replied. You. Mira's heartbeat didn't change, but she noticed the way Helix watched her like a laboratory rat learning to bite. You're going to need to elaborate, she said. Helix gestured, and the walls lit up, data streams, gene maps, field recordings. You weren't born adaptive, he said. You were chosen. Selective gene splicing. Immunoprimal enhancers. Psych response tuning from birth. You've been monitored since age 2. Mira stared at her own face in the files. Running drills. Bleeding. Healing. You're lying. We don't lie, Helix said flatly. We classify. Until now. And why now? Helix turned. Because the growl didn't wait. A new screen lit up, raw footage from Virex 9. Mira's escape. Her kills. Her recovery rate. Your body reacted to trauma with evolution. Real-time, conscious modulation of biochemistry. That shouldn't be possible. And yet, Helix leaned in. You're not a soldier. You're proof. Proof of what? That human biology, when properly guided, outpaces any synthetic life form in the galaxy. Mira narrowed her eyes. So you bred us to be weapons. Helix's smile didn't reach his eyes. We bred you to survive. The fact that survival requires violence isn't our fault. Back in quarantine, the Injari sat motionless, staring at the floor. Why tell me? Mira asked over comms, her voice taut. I studied your people for years, he said. The fear in the Dominion wasn't that you'd conquer them. It was that you changed the rules. What rules? He met her gaze through the glass. You fight like you're already extinct. That terrifies them. Later, Helix handed Mira a datapad. A single target file. Name, Overseer Kale Threx. Role, Dominion Biological Coordinator. Location, orbiting Harness 7, inside a Graal biovault. He's dissecting our dead. You're going to stop him, Helix said. Mira stared at the coordinates. This is a suicide mission. No. It's a first strike. And the Injari? He comes with you. They trust him. She blinked. You're pairing me with the traitor? Helix tilted his head. He gave them truth. You'll give them fear. The ship's silent vector launched under Ghost protocol. No ID, no signal. Mira piloted it herself, with the Injari seated behind her in silence. You knew they'd make me into a weapon, she said. I suspected. And still sent the data. He looked out the viewport. Because it was always going to happen. The only question was when. Mira didn't respond. But something deep in her chest turned. Not rage. Recognition. They arrived in harness orbit under deep black. No patrols. Too quiet. The Graal didn't expect Terran infiltration. Not this fast. Mira docked to the vault's underside, a blind spot. No scans. No alarms. They moved through airless corridors, Mira leading, pulse rifle magnetized to her back, nerves honed to silence. Then they saw it. Inside the central lab, human corpses. Dismantled. Analyzed. One still breathing. Mira ran forward, heartbeat spiking, adrenaline charging faster than the AI could log. She tore open the stasis shell. The woman inside gasped, pale, scarred eyes wide. Terra, she rasped. I'm getting you out. But it was too late. The alarm screamed. And from the far wall, something emerged. Not a Graal. But a human. Half machine. Eyes dead. And behind him, Overseer Threx, skin scaled like obsidian, a grin like a carved blade. So, he said smoothly, the weapon returns to inspect the forge. Mira drew her rifle. But the Overseer didn't flinch. She's perfect, he said. Do you even know what they've made you into? Mira didn't blink. I'm about to show you. The cloned human lunged, faster than Mira had anticipated. She rolled sideways as its blade arm pierced the floor where her head had been, metal shrieking against alloy. She fired, twice, center mass. The rounds hit. No recoil. No cry. The clone kept coming. Not rage. Not pain. Just function. Move! She shouted to the Injari, who ducked behind a collapsed stasis pod. He wasn't built for combat. But she was. That was the difference now. No. That was always the difference. Overseer Threx watched with unnerving calm. They never gave you a designation, did they? Mira landed behind the clone, snapped its neck with a sharp twist. It dropped, twitching. I already have a name. Threx smiled. Names are for civilians. Your infrastructure. Improved tissue. Directed mutation. Organic vengeance. She raised her rifle. I'm done being someone else's weapon. You don't get to decide that, Threx said. You're already doing what they bred you for. He raised one clawed hand, and 5 more clones emerged from the darkness. Each a mirror. Not of each other. Of her. Same eyes. Same face. Different scars. Mira backed away slowly. You cloned me? After Virex 9? Of course, Threx said. You made evolution portable. They won't follow me. They don't need to. They only need to replace you. The first one attacked. Mira didn't aim for the head this time. She aimed for the floor, blew a support beam. The ceiling dropped. 2 clones crushed. She vaulted over falling steel, landed beside the Injari. You said they fear us, she snapped. Why? He hesitated. Because you're not stable. Not in the biological sense. In the philosophical. She stared at him. You survive anything. Including yourselves. Gunfire cracked. Mira spun and dropped another clone. This one had her laugh. That laugh she'd forgotten. It died with the body. The Injari reached into his robes, pulled out a small orb, glowing, pulsing. What is that? Broadcast disruptor. One-time use. It'll shut down their network for 60 seconds. That's not enough. It's all we have. Mira nodded once. Use it when I say. She sprinted toward Threx. Full speed. Dodging fire, leaping over steel, past herself, past every version they thought could break her. One of the clones slashed her side. She ignored it. Threx extended his claws, smiling. You'll never reach me. You don't get it, she said, voice low. This isn't about you. At that moment, she activated her suit's core, dumped the heat capacitor into her bloodstream. Overdrive. Dangerous. Deadly. But just long enough. Her movements blurred, past the final clone, through Threx's reach, and she slammed the disruptor into his command console. The Injari, back in the shadows, triggered the orb. The vault screamed. Lights flickered. Control lines died. The clone staggered, frozen mid-strike. And Mira turned. You stole my face, she said to the clones. But not my will. She finished them one by one. Clean. Quiet. Final. Threx tried to crawl away, fingers broken. You don't understand what you've done. She approached him slowly, blood mixing with coolant on the floor. I understand exactly. He coughed. The Graal will call this an act of war. Mira knelt beside him. So will Earth. Then no one wins. No, she said. Only the ones who survive. She left him breathing, but just enough to send a message. They planted charges and evacuated. The vault didn't just fall. It collapsed into itself, imploding in a silent bloom of zero-G fire. From orbit, she watched it vanish. A life erased. A lie undone. Back on the silent vector, Mira stared into the dark. The Injari joined her at the viewport. Do you feel different? No, she said. But I see clearer now. What will Earth do? Exactly what the Graal feared. He looked at her. Unleash you? She shook her head. No. Unleash us. The silent vector emerged from sublight over Earth's outer defense ring, coated in Graal dust and coated silence. The Terran Strategic Assembly had already received the transmission from Harness 7, images, logs, and biometric proof of what had been done to Mira, what had been copied. Now, every orbital channel flickered with the message she recorded on her way back. They tried to steal the essence of who we are. They learned too late. We are not code. We are consequence. Orbit Command rerouted all ships. None were cleared to follow the vector. Mira was returning home. But not for celebration. For deployment. She didn't wait for ceremony. In the war room beneath Antarctic Command, dozens of generals, tacticians, and bioethicists stared at her like a live weapon. Commander Helix stood among them, still too calm. We're mobilizing? Mira asked. Helix tapped the holodable. Dozens of Graal vaults lit up across 6 systems. They have others, he said. What they did to you wasn't isolated. It was a trial. And Earth? Divided. Half want to retaliate. Half fear escalation. Mira didn't blink. There's no half measure left. Not after what they built. Exactly, Helix said. That's why we're sending you first. She frowned. Alone? He smiled faintly. With permission. The first vault fell without noise. Mira didn't use bombs. She used their own protocols, entered with the clone's biosignature. Walked through corridors as her own enemy. Shut systems down from within. It wasn't revenge. It was removal. Like trimming a tumor. One vault every 36 hours. No survivors. No messages. The galaxy noticed. In a council chamber buried in obsidian light, the Graal High Assembly trembled behind stone masks. She's dismantling us, one rasped. Not our empire. Our identity. Overseer Threx, arm splinted, voice raspier than before, stared at the projection of Mira's face, calm, blank, undeniable. She's not fighting us, he whispered. She's proving we never mattered. Silence followed. Then came a message from Earth. Just 4 words. We did not start. Back in Earth's orbit, Mira sat across from a child. No war room. No weapons. Just a garden under the sky dome and Luna's inner ring. The girl, maybe 9, held a data slate. Are you really her? Mira nodded. I was. Maybe I still am. The girl looked up. They said you saved us. I didn't save anyone. I stopped something. The girl blinked. Is that different? Mira hesitated. Then smiled. Yes. One means it's over. The other means it doesn't happen again. But peace wasn't granted. It was chosen. The Terran Assembly voted. Not for extermination. Not for domination. For silence. Earth recalled all forward ships. Dismantled its own clone labs. Released the data. Admitted what it had done. The galaxy watched. The Graal, exposed, didn't retaliate. They retreated. Empires don't fear destruction. They fear reflection. And Mira became the mirror. In the end, Earth renamed Project Genesis. They called it Echo. Not because of what it created, but because of what it remembered. The will to fight. The choice not to become monsters. In her final debrief, Helix asked her one last question. You realize, he said, we could have used your clones to win 10 wars. Mira stared at him. And you would have lost humanity in every one. He didn't answer. So she stood. And left. Final image. Mira on a quiet beach. No uniform. No weapon. Just her own body, scarred, imperfect, human. Above, stars blinked. Unknowing. Watching. She raised a hand, not to salute, but to feel the wind. For the first time since harness, she smiled. And the camera cut to black.